What is going on, Marvel fans? We are back with what is quite possibly one of the best episodes of Marvel television that has ever come out. But first, we have the Marvel Rewind. We are here with Jake and Jacob. We had to have Jacob on this one. We literally changed the time because we made sure he could be on this one. But let's skip the introductions and just get straight into it.
Whoa.
Freaking love this episode.
We gotta get some introductions in here. Can't just move the show along. Actually, we can because I have a minimal time I can.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's start
they can
talking
see our
about
names. They can see our
Let's
names.
Start talking about it.
Holy!
I'm gonna say this flat out. I'm gonna say this flat out. This is the single best MCU Disney Plus episode they've done so far.
I 100%
agree
with you.
Out of all the shows.
I haven't even thought about it yet, but it might be.
It's not just because of Daredevil.
Yeah,
I think
no, it's not.
I think so far we've gotten a lot of great episodes and a lot of great shows. But I think out of everything, this episode captures exactly what the character is all about.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the absolute badassery that is the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. Like, I told Brian at the beginning, but I was like McLovin in Superbad at a certain specific moment. I'm not going to say it on the show, but like watching this episode was just 35 minutes of absolute pure glory.
Yes,
makes so much sense why they couldn't put it anywhere before the season finale.
So perfect the way he came in, the rendition of the character, the same character but a little twist in how he kind of acts a little bit. Obviously, the acrobatics has been amped up a little bit because he's in the MC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so good.
I'm obsessed with his theme song. Obsessed with it. That like that noise that it makes. And we got a little bit of the old theme song too, which was nice to hear. But okay, Mr. Bartley, you are the resident Daredevil himself. Was this everything you hoped for so far?
Yeah, man. I didn't know what to expect because we knew it was going to be a slightly altered Daredevil, right? And just meaning
very slightly.
Yeah, slightly altered. Just, maybe less altered than Kingpin was, we should say. And so I wasn't sure what to expect, and I thought he fit in very well. So I was actually disappointed with last week's episode. I thought it was the worst episode of the whole entire series last week. And I was very worried about the rest of the show.
Wow.
This completely changed my mind. This episode is not only the best of this season, but one of the best they've ever done, honestly. Maybe an episode of WandaVision comes close, but I don't know if it does because I did not predict, even think about for 1 second the possibility of them getting romantically or sexually involved. Whatever.
Matt Murdock's a whore.
I know he sleeps with every woman he comes across.
But that's exactly who he is. It's exactly who. And he does walks of shame.
The walk of shame was glorious.
The barefoot walk of shame.
I actually think this is going to be an ongoing thing between them in the MCU. Honestly,
I hope so.
I'm all for. Do they have a nickname yet? Is anybody? What's the shipping name? Do they have one yet?
Darehulk.
Yeah.
She-Devil.
That's
good.
Remember, he had a thing with Jessica Jones.
He bangs
had
everyone.
A very
and
quick
Claire.
thing with Jessica Jones. Claire, Karen.
Karen.
They did it in the series, but
poor Foggy.
Now that he right off the bat, he's sleeping with Jennifer Walters.
He's the most promiscuous person in the MCU. He's
so charismatic. And Brian mentioned it before we even went live, but Charlie Cox, he did not miss a beat. He did not miss it. Let's keep in mind, it's been 6 years since he played Daredevil. 6 years. It's been a long time since he played Daredevil. And Elektra, duh. There's another one on his list.
Oh yeah, true.
He did not miss a beat. I also will say one of my favorite moments of the entire episode. It was so quick. I am so happy that they threw in the original Daredevil music theme from Netflix.
Who
for the
are
quick
you?
like 3 seconds, and then she was like, "Am I supposed to know?" And it just like shut off quickly. It was such a brilliant move. Yeah, I can gush about it all day long. Like I can gush about it all day. It's so perfect. His introduction to the MCU is so perfect. It's one of the best introductions we have.
I
Hands
agree. Down. Like the writing was so on point. Like everything they were saying fit in. And obviously he's a bit more lighthearted in this than he was in the show, Daredevil show. But that's called for because it fits the show. It fits She-Hulk. Like if he came in all brooding the whole time, it wouldn't fit the tone of this show. So his lightheartedness played very, very well into the rest of the show. And I loved it. And when he was flipping down that parking garage, that was incredible.
Their fight scene in general was incredible.
The fact that he was able to move as fast as she was and dodge everything that she was throwing at him, and it also made sense that at the end she got him because she does have a little bit more abilities. Like they said that between the two of them, she was like, "Who has the superpowers?" And obviously he doesn't have any. So it made sense, but it also makes sense that he's able to dodge and duck and dip and dive and dodge. I'll throw that reference in there because that's who he is. And it's funny because he did that a little bit in the Netflix show, but he didn't do that to this extent in the Netflix show.
He was more literal ground and pound.
This is like this is Daredevil. Like this is Daredevil. This is so. Andy mentioned it in the chat, and it's the one thing that I'm really bummed we'll never get to see is Daredevil and Black Widow together. They had that fling together in the comics where they were a super, like a major power couple.
It could be Yelena.
We could see it with Yelena for sure.
Talk about pretty
but we've
couple.
seen with both Yelena and Black Widow, or Natasha, I'll say, we've seen how acrobatic they can be with their skill set. It's going to be very similar with Daredevil. They're going to amp him up a little bit. And they talked about it prior to the show that we're going to be getting the same character, but expect to be a little bit more amped up because it's set in the MCU. We can do a little bit more with liberties. And right off the bat, we're getting it. Like right off.
Yeah, you right off the bat got a hallway scene.
It's amazing.
They literally
let's give you another hallway scene.
I love that. It's just it's so when he walks through that door and it's just his boots, you're like, oh, excuse my language, everybody, but it's about to fucking go down.
Yeah.
And with that music that he has now, it's just that
so good.
And just like
so good.
It's they literally know exactly what people want with Daredevil and are just like, yeah, we're just gonna.
We also got to see them go against each other in a courtroom. Not only fight, they fought.
Well, I mean,
they
go against each other. Murdoch swept her under the rug.
Absolutely, but that wasn't even her fault. The guy she was representing.
Stupid leapfrog.
Oh my god, Ribbit and Ribbit,
Ribbit and Ribbit.
But just to see them oppose each other in a courtroom, actually fight in the street, and then make love. They went through a lot of different phases.
Let's talk about how perfect it was how they brought him in. The only connection that they had was the costume designer.
And I think did you not call it a while back that he was going to be lawyering?
Yeah, I said that
against her or something like that.
I think it just made sense that that's how they met up. I just wasn't sure how it happened, but it completely makes sense that you put, and I'm forgetting his name,
Luke?
The costume. Is it okay? They're putting Luke Jacobson. I thought it was Jacob for a reason, but Luke Jacobson. Putting him essentially in the middle of it because he's the only connection between the two of them. And that moment where he's like, I have a lawyer. And then all of a sudden you think, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And you see him walk through the door with his cane.
And his first time he speaks is a smart ass. Sorry, I was trying to find a park.
It's so good. It's so good.
The judge is like, what?
And they don't know if he's joking because like you can't see his eyes. Like, so
it's just
so perfect.
So good. That not just them those two in general, but like those, like her doing courtroom stuff. I think that is what we expected more, like that exact type of thing. At least Jake and I talked about it last week, that was what we were expecting.
They gave me everything I wanted this episode. I said I wanted more courtroom scenes. Boom. We got a courtroom scene.
I can't
it's funny, like for me, the episode, like at first I was like, oh, it's only 30 minutes or whatever. But honestly, they satisfied me in those 30 minutes. Like I had more.
Well, it's 10 minutes longer than any other episode.
And I love the fourth wall. This is the best fourth wall breaking episode because she did it throughout the whole episode.
Agreed.
And how many times did she say, "This is working for me. I'm digging this guy." Like, she did it.
Is everyone feeling it like I am?
Yeah. It's like we're her friend and she's talking to us. Like,
well, I love that as soon as he walks in, she goes, "Who's this asshole?" Like, obviously not knowing who he is at that point. But I agree with you. I think the usage of fourth wall was definitely the best in this episode. Specifically the very end before the twist when she like realizes like us, oh, is the finale next episode? Is this where the big twist happens, etc.? And obviously it does. I thought the fourth wall breaking was really good. Tatiana Maslany, I say it every freaking week and I just can't stop saying it. She is so perfect. She is perfect for this role. And what's good about her is she has so much chemistry with everyone around her. Every person she acts with, she has chemistry with.
The cast in the show is pretty freaking phenomenal. Every character hits their like intended what they're supposed to do. Like her best friend, every time the best friend comes, Nikki,
who may or may not be
grown on me. She's grown on me.
Is she evil? Is she evil?
I don't think she's evil, but I think Jake, what we talked about may happen.
Is she might be evil.
You think she is?
Jake found
a conspiracy theory.
Okay, there's something about
bad guys.
There's something about when Jen's talking to us and she's like talking about what's going to happen next week, and then her friend jumps out from the bathroom. Like they're hinting towards something there. I don't know what.
Telling you.
What, the Wolverine where she comes out with the...
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, it's 100%. She literally even goes, shing, when she jumps out.
So
they're literally blue balling us. That's what they're
Wolverine,
doing.
Are they messing with us because the Deadpool thing? Like,
probably.
Are we actually going to see Wolverine?
No.
Jacob, it's all planned out. The Deadpool announcement, Wolverine being in the first episode, or his name being dropped in the first episode. This, like, it's all connected.
What I'm saying, she was talking about the season finale when that happened. So, are we gonna see something next week or what?
We're not seeing Wolverine. We're not.
No, you're not seeing Wolverine for another 5 years.
Daredevil was the biggest thing that we got in the series, I think,
which we already knew about, kind of. I mean, we did.
I mean,
I think next week is.
Go ahead,
Brian. No, go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say in that scene, we also got the reference to Red Hulk too. Like,
which was
there going to be a Red Hulk? And it's like, is there going to be Red Hulk?
Yeah.
So she's just basically messing with us.
Kevin Feige is messing with us.
Yeah,
he knows exactly what we want and what sends us on a spiral.
They don't need to.
He 100% keeps the carrot on the string, and he's just dangling in front of us the entire time. That's all he's doing. He's making us go faster and faster and longer and longer, and all we're doing is just chasing it after all this stuff. Like Andy said, we're all overthinking it. 100% we're all overthinking it. Like, I don't think anything like that's going to happen next episode, but I think that Titania is going to come back into play next episode, and we're probably going to see a big final fight between the two of them. I always forget the name of the website.
Intelligentsia.
Okay,
so let's get into that really quick.
Okay. Yeah, because I only have about 20 minutes. So
that's fine. I don't think it's the leader anymore. I think it's Todd. I 100% think.
I think Todd is working for the leader.
Possibly.
I don't see them using the leader. Like, the leader's not going to come up with a plan to slut shame her. Like, the leader is like
probably
that just. Seems
doesn't he hate the Hulk though?
He does, but do you really see one of the smartest people in the world being like using his brain to slut shame her? It just
I
seems
mean, just to hurt her in any way. But I kind of agree with you only because they announced that the leader is going to be in New World Order.
yeah.
This isn't like this is. I don't want this coming off the wrong way whatsoever because it's not what I mean, but it's the only way I can think of saying it. Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, like slut shaming is one of the biggest ways that you can go after a woman. Like in this day and age with technology, the internet, etc. And so, sure, you can do something different to hurt someone like She-Hulk. She's a superhero, right? She has powers, whatever. But she's also a woman who has a lot of power in her everyday life when it comes to her job. Being Jennifer Walters, she just got nominated for Female Lawyer of the Year, which all of them ended up winning. Strange.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
That was weird. But slut shaming is kind of the biggest way that you can break down someone, especially a woman. Like, especially a woman. I mean, how many times we've seen it in just our everyday lives with celebrities these days?
That's a good point. And you can't hurt She-Hulk many other ways.
You can't. And if so, that is kind of attacking. Like, even though She-Hulk is invulnerable, she's for lack of a better term, a big green monster. You're still at the core attacking Jennifer Walters, no matter if she is in the form of She-Hulk or Jennifer Walters. She is still Jennifer Walters, and that's attacking her. It's like Mallory was saying when all that was happening. Don't do it, Jen. Don't do it. And she's in She-Hulk form. Mallory knows what that is doing to the character of Jen, not She-Hulk. So sure, it may not seem like something that the leader is doing or may do, but when we pull back the curtain and we kind of look at it at a real world perspective in our world, slut shaming is one of the absolute worst things that you can do that can tear someone down so quickly. Because you are putting their entire lives out in the open and making them feel like they've done something wrong when they haven't. She is living her life, right? She's dating, she's living her life, she's having text messages, etc.
Daredevil up.
That's what I'm saying. Like she banged a dude with horns. Like, come on.
I can't get over him walking down the street whistling, saying hello to someone in his suit with no shoes on. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So side topic real quick. This is totally off topic, but I need to ask Jacob a question. Jacob, do I need to start Russell Wilson tonight? Yes or no?
Who's your other option?
Well, it's our dynasty league. I have Derek Carr and Justin Herbert.
No, start Carr and Herbert.
Yeah, thank you. Move along.
Didn't think we'd be talking about fantasy.
Move along.
How dare you on my show?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. That threw me off now. Okay, another thing. There were a lot of little mini plot points that have effects throughout the MCU. The Sokovia Accords are repealed,
which is awesome.
Obviously, we figured that. I mean, we figured that.
Oh yeah, that's
that
cool.
was a line he dropped.
I love that came from Matt too.
Of course.
He is full-fledged just thrown into the MCU, and I love it.
Yeah, so that was a major plot point that obviously got dropped. Probably not. I mean, this seemed very much planned, being that Black Panther's about a month away. Wakandan tech is leaking out into the world. The spear was put up in an auction.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's literally paid $1 million for it.
That guy, man.
I like that you said it exactly how he did.
I know. I did on purpose.
They found the perfect actor to play that scumbag of a character.
The fact that he took a shirtless picture with it too, and just like holding it, and then he does the Wakanda Forever, like that whole scene was so cringy.
That's perfect because they're setting up the conflict already in Wakanda Forever. Like that's great.
It's mind blowing. They throw that stuff out. What else? What was the other plot point? It was. I mean, it's not really a plot point, but the Red Hulk thing was kind of ironic too.
But I mean, thing,
yeah. So those were the two big ones. Obviously, Intelligentsia, which we kind of just hit, Anything else, Jake, that you could think of while you're looking at?
No, I think the biggest one is the Sokovia Accords, and I don't know how much of an impact they'll really have going forward because of how far removed we are from them. Like the last time that they really came into play was Civil War. They've kind of been there here and there a little bit, but that was back in 2016. So, but I like the fact that they're not just like glazing over it, thinking that we can forget about it. They're sealing the deal that it's over and done with. Like Sokovia Accords, they happened, they were a thing, but now we've moved on from it. And it will come into play in the form of the Avengers not having to, and any other organization not having to abide by the U.S. government or any other government if you're part of the U.S. So the Avengers are now a solo corporation. They're an organization of superheroes, and they do what they want, when they want, how they see fit. You can kind of look at them as like a shield, right? They're another branch. I kind of look at them as another branch of the U.S. military in a way, where they operate by their own rules. And
I almost consider them just a private sector.
They're private. They're private, but I said military just because they go into fighting and stuff like that. Like they're used in battle.
It's funny to me because they keep referencing the Avengers, but who are the Avengers?
There is none. They're literally
funding
Feige
them?
said that they're disassembled. Feige said they're disassembled right now.
They're disassembled, but I don't believe for one second that there's not a headquarters of a group of people who are kind of involved. You know,
they still talk about the Avengers as if they're a thing. Like people
like look at Wong at the end of Shang-Chi. Like he grabbed Shang-Chi and was like, "You've been thrusted into something more." Like Marvel and Banner and Wong, they're operating together. You know, like they may be disassembled as a group.
That's fair. Like, at the end of Shang-Chi, that's probably your remaining remnants right now.
They may be like not operating as a group into like major fights and stuff, but there's 1000% some type of group or organization of characters that are still involved together, not giving up on the idea of the Avengers. It may not be everybody, but I 100% am in the belief that, you know, the Captain Marvels, the Hulks, the Wongs,
Okoye for right now.
Okoye. I think that the main players that we kind of saw in Endgame who didn't dust, I think that they're still kind of holding on to the idea and hoping that one day it builds back up to what it was. Like after Endgame,
War Machine.
Like after Endgame, there is no effing way that they just disassembled after beating Thanos and saving the world. There's no way. Like, there has to be a small group of them that stuck together and are hoping for at one point in time that they can get back to where they were and helping kind of keep the world safe again.
Well, there's always threats too. Like it's not like after Endgame all the threats went away. There's going to be various different levels of threats going on. Yeah. So there still has to be a team. It's just interesting to me because like earlier in the season, they're like saying, "Oh, she's an Avenger," you know, like her friend's lying about it, but it's like they talk about them as if they're
She's an Avenger, Jacob. She's an Avenger.
Yeah, an Avenger. Yeah.
Or an Avenger.
An Avenger.
But basically, the heroes who are still operating on the good side are Avengers. Like,
for basically. Sure. No, yeah, there's no way that, like, Falcon stops being an Avenger. Or Hulk stops being an Avenger. Like, they're still a thing, but maybe they're just not operating as big. And also, like, who's to say, like, of course there's small threats going on. Obviously, we're seeing it in She-Hulk. We saw it in Hawkeye, Moon Knight, WandaVision, etc. But who is to say that they're actually at this moment in time, there isn't world-threatening issues that require the Avengers? There could be an actual time of peace.
They just have a giant celestial sticking out of the ocean. That's the only thing that's...
But I'm saying, like, I mean, we've seen world-ending stuff in solo films before. Like, we've always said, like, well, if that is happening, why are the Avengers there? Like, people always ask that stupid question. I kind of look at it as like maybe they're living in a little bit of a time of peace where the Avengers aren't really required at this moment in time. And then something's going to come along where they have to reassemble, a la King.
I mean, even in Infinity War, they weren't really assembled yet. Like they were.
The Avengers, they broke up. They 100% broke up. Yeah.
Yeah,
they weren't they were still a thing, but they were broken up.
When they were assembled, it was a much smaller 6 people.
I mean, they were like a high school
Ultron.
relationship. You're on and off. You're on and off. You know.
I guess in Endgame, the time jump. Once Tony comes back, then the Avengers are back together. Like from that point on, in a way.
I mean, honestly, I would say Black Widow kept the Avengers together. It was just a weird group of them.
Oh, true. She had her own little group.
Yeah,
sure.
It was Okoye, it was Captain Marvel, Rocket, War Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? Banner. Who else is in that group? Was there anybody else?
Captain Marvel.
That's it.
Yeah, it was kind of like 6 of them at that time.
Yeah.
It was a weird group, but I think that someone is always going to keep them alive. Always, no matter what. They're always going to be there.
I mean, even if it did, they weren't actively together. Like, there's a couple that could easily just like get together.
Oh, Nebula, Gordon. Thank you. She was one of them. Yes.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good point.
Good call.
Good point.
Good
Yeah.
call. But back to Daredevil.
I know. I was trying to think if there's anything else, but I was literally like,
well, his batons.
Daredevil.
I love he's got his batons and he's whipping those things
Mhm.
out. Super, super cool.
I'm shocked you haven't talked more about the hallway scene. I thought you were going
Well,
to
we can talk about the hallway scene, but I want to talk about the suit. Let's
Oh,
talk about ketchup and mustard.
Condiment
Here.
King colors.
Let's talk about ketchup and mustard. No, look, I've already seen some side of the internet bagging on it, talking about how the black suit's better or the red suit from the Netflix series, and that could be true, but I love this suit. I do, because it is classic Daredevil. And if you've never really read Daredevil comics or seen him in the comics, this is what he debuted as. He debuted in a yellow and red suit. It wasn't fully red with like yellow accents. It wasn't pure red. It was yellow and red. Those were his colors. And so I love that they went with it, that they rode with it, and they gave him a mustard helmet and they gave him mustard arms. I also love that they kind of changed the style of the suit, whereas it's not a jacket anymore. It's a vest and the undershirt. You can tell the way he fights that the red is a vest and then the yellow is like an undershirt. So it allows him to be a little bit more flexible.
Exactly.
And movable. I think it looks great. It's a great rendition or a great version of the Netflix suit, but tweaked to be something a little bit new and different for the MCU, but they're keeping what made that one so great. Obviously the helmet is almost spot on, just different color. The suit has a lot of similarities, and Charlie Cox just rocks that thing like no other. So.
Yeah, no, I like it look, he's not going to wear that for his entirety in the MCU. His suit's going to change, just like Captain America's had a new suit every movie, and it was like slightly altered and different. Same thing's going to happen with Daredevil, and we'll go back to the all dark red eventually, and maybe he'll switch back to yellow in one movie.
He's not always going to fight in the shadows, and they're not going to be able to give him a mustard yellow shoot.
Yeah, and how many episodes is his show? 18 episodes?
18!
I bet you we see like at least 3 different suits in that show. At least
I hope at one point like he loses his suit and he goes back to the black suit. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, and
He'll probably have a stealth suit.
Wow.
Like maybe his suit gets stolen or something and he has to rock the old school black one and we see him tying it on again. Oh! Let's go.
So now
I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
After seeing this episode, now we can kind of imagine what his show's going to be like, and I'm so excited
it's
now.
So perfect.
Yeah.
They also kind of cranked up like his universe's powers. If you know, like Kingpin's a little bit more powerful.
Sure.
He's definitely got more.
He couldn't flip down the.
Yeah, I think he got more acrobatic, and then I think he got just a tad bit stronger.
Yeah.
And I like that he basically goes, yeah, I just have superhuman hearing. I have really good hearing. I love that.
Spatial method. It's a spatial.
Yeah, I love that line. One thing that we haven't talked about though is it's a very quick line about Jen doing research on him and saying that he has his own practice, which makes me believe that Nelson and Murdoch is alive and well.
Probably. That
they are kicking in New York, that he's back with Foggy. They're doing their own thing. And I swear to God, if they recast Foggy, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed if they recast Foggy.
I don't think Foggy. They will.
They need to bring him back. They need to bring him back. They need to bring back Karen Page. They need to bring everyone back from that series because they all deserve it.
Did you see? They better bring Elodie Young back, honestly. I want her to be Elektra.
I agree. Agreed.
I mean, the executive producer of season 1 tweeted that he's like, "Holy crap, they did our guy proud." Like they
nice. That's cool.
Well, and it goes unnoticed sometimes, or maybe even untalked about. Like, we have to give a lot of credit to Charlie Cox in this instance because he is the only person from that series, that version of Daredevil, that returned, right? So he's able to speak his mind and say, like, this is what the character feels like when I'm performing. This is how they kind of went about it. This is how they directed me. If something happened on set that he didn't like, maybe he said, look, maybe this didn't happen in the show, but maybe we can tweak it this way. A lot of this lands on his shoulders. Like, they can tell whatever version of Daredevil that they want, but if they want it to be like the one from Netflix, a lot of that is coming from Charlie Cox. Because maybe Kevin Feige visited the set or got some notes or something, but he was the only person who was there day in and day out looking and feeling and seeing how this character was created.
That's a good point.
And so he's the only one bringing that information to the show, and for them to do it so well, but also add another level to the character to fit inside the MCU, we have to give a lot of credit to Charlie Cox in this instance because a lot of it does land on him by himself. Like, maybe they gave a call to Drew Goddard, who did the first season, or any of the directors that were involved, but at the end of the day, Charlie Cox is the only person that is coming from that show to this one.
Yeah, and he read all those scripts, so he probably knows the character like the back of his hand, honestly.
He was there day in and day out. Like it.
So,
yeah.
Well, he said it was going to be over his dead body that someone else played Daredevil.
He said he'd go put on the mask and fight them for it.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, this is a dream come true, to be honest. Like, how long did we say this is the one
6
guy
years.
we have to have back in the
6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, so this is so brilliant. Look, before I didn't believe that the Netflix Daredevil could swing on rooftops with Spider-Man, but I believe this one can.
100%.
So I love that. And we're going to see
100%.
that. We're going to see that.
Oh, yeah, we are. Once
and
Peter is recognized.
Wait a minute. This is not his debut.
No. He's already met
Spider-Man. This is Daredevil's debut, not Matt Murdock's
Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
I just remembered that.
It's Daredevil's he doesn't remember Peter Parker, though, anymore.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, but look, let's be honest. Peter Parker's name is going to be remembered at one point. That's all going to be reversed.
Oh, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, like, at this moment in time.
So did he still represent Spider-Man? No, huh? I don't know.
Well, no, that didn't happen until the end of the movie. So technically, he still represented Peter Parker, but he just doesn't know who Peter Parker is. Nobody remembers. Like, time wasn't erased. It all still happened, but nobody remembers that Peter Parker was on trial.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So it all still happened. So when they like, if they ever were to watch it back, people are gonna be like, "Who the hell is that kid? Why is he such a big part of
random
this?"
kid?"
Yeah,
because it's still like in the court videos and stuff.
Exactly. Like the name.
And when they say Peter Parker is just like bleeped out. Like,
yeah, like they're gonna try. It's like one of those moments where like they're gonna try to say his name and they can't say his name. Like, like they just can't physically say it. Yeah.
He's just so good. Do we love the new theme song?
Yes.
It gives me Tron. It gives me Tron.
And
if you watch the whole credits, like, you know, like if you kind of just leave it on, it does like it does the normal credits and whatever, and then it just does like the random, like sometimes like, well, most of the time they're not even in English and it's a black screen. If you watch those, they play his whole theme in the black credits. So if you want to listen to the whole thing, it's at the it's in the like other
the very, very end.
Yeah, other language credits.
If I had a choice, I would honestly really, really
keep both.
Yes, but I love that original theme so much. Like, I think I've told both you guys this, and you probably know this, but when I watch Daredevil, I don't skip the intro. I don't ever skip I watch the entire intro
like Game of Thrones
because of the song. And it's such a unique theme for a superhero theme, but I also do think that it's okay to redo it for the MCU. But they're also paying massive respect by dropping that really quick segment of the theme.
Don't you know who I am?
It's so good.
I'm Daredevil.
It's so good. But I am I am excited for, like, say they drop a She-Hulk, score track or something. If they do drop that, I'll 100% listen to the Daredevil one on repeat for sure.
Yeah,
so good. It's so good.
Real quick, I want to bring up the because I don't know if you guys know of this. Do you guys know what Daredevil's Shadowland suit looks like?
Yeah, it's the black and like it says.
So Vapion asked.
I
want
have
to
seen it, but
ask.
I don't know what that is.
He asked if we'll ever actually see this in the MCU.
That'll be a stealth suit.
How effing dope is that suit?
And
obviously, this is just a fan edited. It's a little Photoshop version, but like, imagine that with the Daredevil logo on the front, black and red.
His logo, the actual like main one that we've seen, is pretty close. Like,
yeah, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. I don't think we'll see it until his show.
No.
I think his show, he'll get a new suit for the show, and I think that suit he'll get will officially have the DD on it. Because more so than he was in the Netflix show, he's 100% out in the world. Like in the Netflix show, he very much hid to the shadows, and he was obviously out there. People knew of him. He's in the newspapers, etc. But the dude is walking around after having sex with another superhero. Like he's out in the world, you know. And so I think at that point, with no shoes on, I think at that point, once we get his show, I don't see any reason why we can't have the DD on the front of his suit like that.
I think you're for sure going to have that. Why not?
Yeah. It's like Cap having the star on the front of his.
I was going to say Spider-Man's spider.
So does he still have a secret identity? Did they mention anything about that?
Nobody knows. Okay. And that's always
going to go talk to the cops. And he goes, no, that's not my thing. And she goes, oh, you're broody.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that's always a thing. He has to keep his secret identity. I don't think Matt Murdock, it's like Spider-Man. I don't think he can ever reveal himself.
Well, he doesn't, because he doesn't want his people he loves to get hurt. And maybe it would jeopardize his law career somehow. Like
it's possible. And
I think because that was a whole plot point in one of the seasons where he was trying to protect Foggy and Karen.
Well, yeah, I think Matt
very much goes after family. Like that's in Kingpin's MO.
Well, yeah, and I think Matt, he comes obviously from a very religious background, right? He goes to the Catholic Church, etc. I think he holds the whole like separation of lives a lot differently than other superheroes do, because we haven't seen like secret identities in the MCU have never really been a thing. Like they've never been a thing until
Spider-Man,
until Peter Parker's name was officially erased, and now going forward, that secret identity is 100% a secret to Avengers, to everything. Like nobody is ever going to know that Peter is Spider-Man going forward, except for like maybe
he had a secret identity before No Way Home, right? Like he's the only one that had a secret identity, though.
Well, yeah, but I'm even talking about in front of the Avengers. Like I'm thinking that going forward, like there's a chance we don't ever see Peter Parker reveal who he is because of what happened in No Way Home. Like I think when he's around an Avenger, he's Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he keeps that a secret. And I think Daredevil is the next closest one of like, I don't want to reveal myself. I believe
Moon
he talks about it too at the bar
either.
Yeah, I mean, but if people end up seeing him like suit up or whatever, yes, you're right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else really. Yeah. That's actually a good point that I never actually really thought of. Is that they're very much just like
they're all out in the world. They're 100%. Every superhero is out in the world. There's not a single one that's
who they are.
Like Black Panther actually revealed himself.
Well, what was the show? It was in She-Hulk, the episode where she was getting sued for her name. She was naming Thor and Doctor Strange, and Mallory goes, "You're naming people who use their real names.
Use their actual real names." Yeah.
Yeah, like that. It's the only people that we know of right now. Their secret identities are Spider-Man and Daredevil.
Yeah, if they're like secret identity, they're more or less like hidden from the world, like Winter Soldier was. Like people didn't know who he was until it became, that's Bucky Barnes.
I guess Yelena's kind of like that now too. The public doesn't know about Yelena.
That's fair, yeah.
Like the general public, they don't. Well, because she's a spy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I loved? I just remembered this. When they're fighting at the end together and they're talking about lawyer strategies. And then
That scene was dope.
And then like they're like both fighting and she's like, all right, I forget what she said, but she said one thing and he's like, well, this is what I would do. And
She
that was
said
amazing.
he could claim mania. And he's like, no, you can go for PTSD.
Yeah, exactly. That
I
stuff was great
real
because
quick,
these are the most two prominent lawyers in the MCU. So that was, or in the Marvel. So that was cool.
well, the MCU. You're right, MCU.
Yeah.
Real quick before I go, because I do have to bounce out. I love that.
There's really not much.
I love that Jen's outlook on the She-Hulk versus Jennifer Walters lives have forever been changed by what Matt said to her. And it's something that he has stood for since his show of like, you do what you can as a lawyer. If the law doesn't do it right, you take it into your own hands. And obviously Daredevil's a little bit more brutal than She-Hulk is, but you can tell by that scene that it really clicked with her of live my life first as Jennifer Walters, doing everything I possibly can as a lawyer, trying to live by the right rules through the law. And if that fails me, if all else fails, I take it into my own hands as She-Hulk. Because that's exactly what Matt does. Like we saw it throughout his whole season or his whole series on Netflix that there were times that if a bad guy got off or, you know, something was a little fishy, he took it into his own hands as Daredevil. And that is something that She-Hulk or Jennifer can totally do as She-Hulk, right? Do what she can as Jennifer Walters, you know, abide by the right rules, put everything she can into the lawyer side of it all. But then if it doesn't work and sometimes call for it, take it into your own hands as She-Hulk, not just Jennifer Walters. So I think that's very cool that was all like, that's a kickstart for her from Matt. And it makes his, like, it's not just a fan service moment in the series that he shows up. It's actually an important character development moment for Jen to have him there. You know, it's not just there to like, he's not just there to be there. He's there to kind of push her forward a little bit, which is cool. So,
yeah. And she finally met a nice guy. Every guy she met was a douchebag.
And they're going to go out to dinner someday. Yeah.
Telling you, power couple of the MCU going forward.
Yeah, 100%.
Before you leave, though, Leapfrog?
Oh, Leapfrog's incredibly hilarious, but what an absolute douche.
He's such
a an absolute douche. He's funny. The dude is just a moron.
I'm absolutely going to start walking around at work going, Ribbit and Ribbit. Or Ribbit and Ribbit.
They named the episode that. But that's
so
funny how he jumps
out. And I love that
his
secret lair had a neon sign on it. A giant neon sign.
A lily pad.
What?
He's the worst. And he only had frog-themed video games inside.
Yeah, and he wants to be a hero, but his
henchmen were called tadpoles.
So stupid.
Whoever was literally in charge of writing everything about Leapfrog, you did an amazing job because he was so dumb the best way possible. But anything else before we end it here? I mean, we've talked about pretty much. We could just keep
I gotta go like right this second, so I'm gonna pop off before you guys head out.
All right. See you later, Jake.
Bye, guys.
We're not important enough for that exit, I guess. But is there anything else, Mr. Bartley, that you'd love to say about your beloved Daredevil before we leave?
No, I mean, I just want to say thank you to Kevin Feige and whoever else made this happen, because I did say, like, years ago on Apocalypse Now or our shows, back when we used to shoot in Brian's apartment, that this is my one wish in the MCU. And we got it. So
you're going to get 18 more episodes of it, not including him being an Echo. Also, him and Echo is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for that.
And I will say the ending of the episode was very powerful because there's nothing that Jennifer can do to reverse that. Mm-hmm. Like, reverse what happened. It probably broadcasted to like the world.
Probably.
And she can't fix that problem. She can only find who's responsible. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we've got the season finale next week. Hey, I don't know if I was going to ask Jake, we might have to do a Marvel Rewind tomorrow because tonight at midnight, Werewolf by Night comes out. I'm staying up for it.
We'll have to do one sometime.
Something.
Like
maybe it'll be on now. So the best thing if you want updates is Twitter for us, Pockflix
our
Movies.
YouTube community tab.
Or yes, that too. We have your Lord of the Rings show scheduled on Saturday. What time?
Yeah, it'll be Saturday at 4 p.m.
Saturday at 4 p.m. If you don't see us tomorrow, we will for surely probably be talking about Werewolf by Night on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
But for Pockflix Movies, thank you so much for joining us as we talked a little She-Hulk, a lot of Daredevil. But till then, see you guys next time.